So you mentioned that Australia has banned online poker. The thought of many having online poker is that because you're making it more available, you're essentially promoting gambling. From your perspective, how would we regulate online poker? How is it done well?
Okay. Well, first of all, online poker, just taking the premise of the question, I don't think it increases gambling per se, because the people who play poker are not people with fundamentally irrational beliefs about gambling. The people that are the best at poker, you wouldn't picture as big gamblers, generally speaking. Okay. For example, they tend to be former chess players. They tend to be kind of nerdy types, people who are really interested in maths and numbers. And the reason that they have that interest is because they're trying to win with the odds, not try and win despite the odds, which is what most gambling is about. If you go to the casino and you put money on roulette, there's a house edge that you cannot possibly overcome. You are making a negative expected value investment. And that's what the concern about gambling is, that the house always wins. Whereas the house in poker isn't winning from your gambling habit. They're taking a rake, a service charge for you to play one another. And that's a completely different business model. They're basically being a host platform for people to engage in activity with each other. It's not the casino, which is trying the absolute maximum possible to extract as much money from you as they can. It's a completely different model.
Yeah, so you're not playing against the casino, you're playing against other players. Casino just takes commission to let you do that.
Yeah, now that's not to say that people who play poker can't develop issues. Of course they can. And I think that we need to be conscious of that and make sure that people who are perhaps depositing too much too frequently, I picked up and diverted, that there is plenty of referral options, that there's good education, that there's good transparency. Researchers and service providers and treatment options, they can look at the data and they can, develop confidence that things are being done in the right way. But I would say that the proportion of people who play poker who develop gambling issues is significantly smaller than what we would normally be concerned about. So people who play machines in casinos or table games, that disparity is, I think, significant. Now, also conversely to other forms of gambling, where I think people gamble to withdraw from society and to kind of manage, whatever emotional issues that they have, I think in poker, it's almost the reverse is true. You can play poker and be a losing player, but still be having a lot of fun, right? Like you can still be actually stimulated by the challenge of playing a competitive sport, just like you might spend a lot of money on your other hobbies. You might invest a lot in your boat or your cars or whatever, and you can go, well, you're losing money doing that, but you're actually getting a lot of recreational benefit from it. You're getting that to a higher degree with poker, I would venture to say, than you are in other forms of gambling. People play, it's infamous. People play the machines, they zone out.
Yeah.
That's not the case in poker. Poker, you're stimulated, you're focused, you're trying to do the best decision in each given situation, knowing that that decision is highly consequential. You're putting yourself deliberately under a form of pressure. You're not trying to escape, you're trying to engage. And so, first of all, education about poker, I think, is a big thing. Poker literacy, we all use lingo that ordinary people don't understand, and so we don't help ourselves in that regard. No. We are a bit impenetrable when it comes to talking poker and communicating poker to a wider world. So one of the reasons there are all these misconceptions is because we're not very good at explaining it, and we use all this internal dialogue, which for some people makes them feel a bit special, but actually we need to be better at explaining it to a wider audience. And to be sincere, I think would also be good in terms of helping reduce not only the stigma, but also improving the care for people that might develop problems. To be, yes, we actually don't want in our poker life, poker community, to have people suffering as a consequence of this activity, because if for no other reason, then it's harmful for our reputation and harmful for the world of poker. One of the things that people hide behind when banning poker is the idea, as you say, that poker is harmful. Well, we should go out of our way to show that it's not harmful, and that if you don't, right, people will just drive underground. People do. There are so many black market websites running poker, and governments, not only do they not get the taxes and all of that, they don't get the visibility. They don't know who's playing on. They don't know where the money's coming from or where it's going. The players themselves are exposing themselves to all kinds of risks in doing that. If you have well-regulated sites that have good relationships with service providers and with caregivers and so forth, and there's no reason why this can't be a net benefit for society.